Hello, fellow engineers. We have a problem here at ASU. We need help keeping fellow Sun Devils out of the sun whenever we're walking in between classes.
There are many reasons why we need to stay out of the sun before class. For example, when we go to class, sometimes we show up a little sweaty, especially from backpacks and that. After that, we also sometimes get migraines if we don't drink enough water between classes because there's not a lot of places to refill and there's not enough shade. We also end up spending like $50,000 just to go to school, and all of this heat ends up making us exhausted before class, which sometimes ends up having us fail tests that we want to do well on.
So the main problem here is there's no shade on the routes you have to take to walk to your classes. And with the minimum travel time being nearly 10 minutes, that creates a lot of problems. So here we have a fellow ASU attendee, and how does this affect you?
Well, basically, most days when I go to school, I like to get to class like 20 or 30 minutes early just because I know I'm going to be sweaty, I know I'm going to be hot, my back gets sweaty from my backpack. It's kind of embarrassing, but I like to get to class and let my shirt dry, as gross as it is. And you know, when you're at school from 10 to 12 hours a day, I get home, I got a headache usually, and it makes it hard to focus on my homework and my studying just because I get home and it's so hot, the sun drains your energy, and I just want to go to bed. I don't want to keep doing my schoolwork.
So why this needs to be solved now is because thousands of ASU students are suffering every single year, since the hot weather is mostly what we experience here in Arizona. And on top of that, people are dying every year from this just from being outside too long. And in a study done in 2015, it showed that 85 people died from heat stroke alone in Arizona. And considering that is a relatively small number compared to other statistical deaths, this is insane because this is a problem that can be solved so easily. That number should be zero, since it's the solution as simple as providing shade to areas that don't have any when you're walking.
So a couple of issues I have with not having enough shade around campus is that pretty much during the summer season, I go through about 5 times more cologne or deodorant or whatever it is that I need to not smell awful. I go through way more in the summer than I do in the winter just because it's ridiculous how sweaty and hot you get here. And one thing about Arizona is that they say it's a dry heat, so it's not as bad, but when you're walking out in the sun, you can literally feel the sun hitting your skin, and it's like the worst feeling ever just because you feel like your skin is cooking, and it's just awful.
The issues I have with not having any shade is because I'm from New Jersey, and the climate there is completely different from Arizona, since on a day when it's like 60 degrees there, it's 100 degrees here, which is significantly more hot. Another problem that I have is I'm also commuting from off campus. So when I go to school, I sometimes have to bring 2 shirts because my first one gets sweaty sometimes. And there's even times when my bike that I ride between classes ends up getting a flat tire or a pedal falls off. So that could lead to me walking in the very hot sun.
So the main problem I have with there being no shaded areas on campus is that it makes the commute even more painful than it already is, because you already don't want to go to class, and having to deal with the insane heat because there's no shade on top of that just makes you angry and really cranky. So not only is everyone sweaty because of the lack of shade on campus, we are also put in a bad mood, and we're definitely not in the best condition to learn whatever lesson that we're about to be taught. Thank you, fellow engineers, for listening to our problem here at Arizona State University. We look forward to your responses and wish you the best of luck.